I want to show you a real installation of PoEWit's emergency recess lights. One thing about this house is that it uses a Lutron system to control all the lights that were installed many years ago. The first PoEWit emergency light is located right there, and that Cat 5 right next to that wall jack was broken out to power it. One thing about PoEWit lights is that all it requires is one Cat 5 to both power and network the lights. One of the capabilities that PoEWit has that Lutron does not have is that in the event of a power outage, these lights can automatically go to a predetermined state and keep this house well illuminated. The next emergency light installed along the baseboard was broken off from that media cabinet and routed to that baseboard location, so it was very easy to install that light. Since this is a family room, the owners wanted to huddle in here in case of a power outage, so an additional PoEWit recess light was added to supplement so they could have a little more illumination. PoEWit lights' additional capabilities are a nice add-on to this Lutron system because Lutron does not have the emergency light capability. The next location is in this room, where the additional Cat 5 jack that was right behind that cabinet was broken out to install the next emergency light right along the baseboard. Now this next location is the main exit to this house, so for this area the owners wanted it to be very well illuminated along that door. It was very easy to add more illumination to this area. And to achieve this, the installers ended up replacing the existing recess light with a PoEWit light. And it was very simple to do because there was already a Cat 5 in the ceiling. This installation took about a day, and that was very simple to install and configure, all done by our app. After it was installed, all the homeowner has to do is specify how they want to use the lights. The next location is again along the baseboard, and there was also already a Cat 5 jack right there, and it was used to power that emergency light. Moving on is the dining room, and the way the user had this house programmed is when it gets dark, these lights come on to a very dim state because they are backwired to a PoEWit PoE switch, which works as a lighting controller connected to a PoEWit UPS. This allows the homeowner to have enough light to see and be able to come down the stairs in the middle of the night without a flashlight because it is dimly lit and not pitch black. The last location I want to show you is this reading room, which has a bed, and these lights are set to be very dim at a very low lux state because the owners wanted to use them as night lights. Okay, so we will now turn off the power to this house and show you how these lights will react and what they are pre-programmed to do when the power goes out. So we pop the circuit breaker and the lights are now turned off. Okay, now that the utility power is out, the PoEWit switch and UPS have been triggered and the house lights have gone into the state that has been pre-programmed by the homeowner. So we're going to attempt to walk the same path as we did before to show you what happens to the PoEWit emergency lights and what state they have gone into. So the first location was in this office underneath this desk, and as you can see, the light is on and illuminating this room just enough to see. If we move along to the next location, the family room, they wanted this room to be a little brighter, so as you can see, the one light is down below, giving more than enough illumination to read or do whatever task you want. If you look up, you can see one light is off, but the PoEWit light is still on. Moving along to the next location, you can see the PoEWit lights have turned on. Lastly, this was the key area that I pointed out before. They wanted very well illuminated so people could exit the house through these two doors. All of the lights are pre-programmed to go to a state, and in this case, some lights are full bright and others are dim, for the most part to conserve battery life. Now, if we move along to the kitchen, you can see the path to that location is illuminated. The battery capacity and runtime with the way that these lights are set up right now is about 6 hours. The system is smart and it is programmed so that when the battery is diminished to about 80%, they go to a different state. Since the PoEWit PoE switch and UPS are also lighting controllers, they will load shed even more devices that are not necessary as time goes by to extend the runtime of this battery. Even though the internet connection is not working, these lights will still function because they have a local mode, which means they know what to do even if the internet connection is lost. Finally, moving on to the last room, which is the reading room, and here the light is right behind the bed. As you can see, it is a little bit brighter. That's the way that it was programmed, but obviously it could be turned down even more so that it could double up as a nightlight if we wanted to use it that way. If you like our videos, don't forget to follow, share, and subscribe. See you next time!